General Goldfein, I wanted to ask you, how are the A-10s performing against ISIL? And the Secretary of Defense has said they've been performing superbly. How are they doing?
Superbly, yes, ma'am. I would align with that.
Okay, appreciate it. I wanted to follow up on the maintenance issue that was raised earlier. The Air Force told Congress that it had to place A-10s on XJ or set-aside status to free up maintenance personnel moved to the F-35, and I think this may have been raised earlier in the hearing. And you've discussed the maintenance shortfall in your prepared testimony. Yet my office has learned that at least 5 A-10 crew chiefs from Davis-Monthan were not moved to the F-35, but rather to the Azores to conduct basic aircraft transient alert activities that can be done by any maintenance personnel. Are you aware of this? And if not, can you look into it for me?
I'm not, and I will, yes, ma'am.
I appreciate it. Because I want to make sure that if this is the claim on the maintenance personnel, that it is that we're maximizing and properly using the maintenance personnel. And I want to note for the record that the Air Force has told our office previously that it couldn't use contractors to solve its short-term maintenance shortfall. But I note in this budget request, the request will fund contract maintenance personnel to fill gaps at select non-combat A-10, F-16, and C-130 units, following our active duty maintainers to transition to the F-35. So I've gotten different stories on the maintenance issue, and so one thing I would appreciate overall is if you could provide my office, since the claim is that we need the A-10's maintainers to assist the F-35, I'd like to know what's happening with the A-10 maintenance personnel and to have a list of the last 2 years of where they're moving and how they're performing. My concern about the A-10 continues to be, and I think it's exemplified by the letter that I received from the TACP Association that represents roughly 1,300 active duty Air National Guard and Reserve JTACs and 2,000 former JTACs who've written me and said, we believe F-15s, F-16s, and B-1s cannot replicate the CAS capabilities of the A-10, and we know from combat experience that the elimination of the A-10 before a viable replacement achieves full operational capability will cost American lives. And that's been my focus from the beginning and my concern about this particular platform. I do also, you and I have gone round and round about this, but I also want to follow up on the wing issue that you and I have talked about. As I understand it right now, that under the current plan, if there's not a reprogramming request submitted for A-10 wings, that 13 A-10s will be grounded in 2018 due to the need for new enhanced wing assemblies. And part of it is they're being used right now, right? A lot against the fight against ISIL. Is my understanding correct for that? And am I right to say that, for the record, without a reprogramming request or additional action, not only the 13 retired in FY18, the Air Force will also told me that 28 A-10s would be grounded in 19, 42 in 2020, and 47 in 2021. Is that true?
Partially, ma'am. So the aircraft in 18 are actually going to be grounded, but even if we were able to buy new wings, those wings won't show up until 19, so they actually will not affect the 18 numbers that will be grounded. Our plan right now is to take those out of the BAI aircraft, so it won't affect actually those combat-coded aircrafts that we send forward to a combatant commander. So we'll manage those 10 and 18. The wings, if in fact we come forward and are approved for a above-threshold reprogramming by the committees that approve that, if that's approved and the Secretary comes through with that, those wings will start showing up in 19, and that's when they'll start being refitted.
Well, I would, as you and I have talked about, I would urge the Secretary to come forward because obviously time is of the essence. We know that this platform is working well against ISIL, and I really would appreciate the Secretary, and I know that Chairman McCain shares my concerns about this. Thank you.